Hey hotshots, Jess with Emotional Fire Academy here today to talk about empathy serves no one, how to actually help other people. Subscribe to my channel if you are an HSP looking to transcend the negative traits of this personality. And welcome. That's what we do here at Emotional Fire Academy. I'm Jess, Master NLP practitioner and former firefighter. Just a quick announcement that the Flammable to Fireproof training is open for just a couple more days. If you're someone who totally wants to step out of the HSP personality and be your hero self, join us. I would love to have you. I would love to teach you all this stuff. It's everything I put in my videos and even more combined in a supportive group experience. Check that out below. I'll put the details in the description box. All right, I'm going to ruffle some feathers today. I feel like as HSPs, we put empathy on a pedestal. Oh, I'm an empath. It's like a badge of honor. When I had the realizations I'm about to share with you, I stopped that stuff pronto. I was just like, okay, I'm over this. Like, and I never looked back. So we'll see what happens today. I'm going to offer you a lot of different perspectives, and they all will lead to one thing. So you can either lead or follow with your emotional state. Now, if you haven't checked out my Give Up Easily video, I posted that a few days ago. Check that out. I'll link it above. But it talks about these two patterns of feeling like reality triggers you and then starting to construct your reality by reprogramming your beliefs, monitoring your thoughts, that kind of stuff, intentionally moving forward in a certain way. Empathy is clearly a way that we follow reality. So somebody else is in an emotional state and we find ourselves in that emotional state as well. Suddenly, it just happens. It comes over us. Now, this is something that doesn't help the person that you're witnessing, and it doesn't help you as the empath. Let's speak first from the point of view of the empath. So someone who's like, I am empathic. I used to subscribe to the idea that I was absorbing people's energy, that, all that kind of spiritual stuff. There's nothing wrong with spirituality. I love it. I dabbled in it for a long time. For me, I realized I was like, I'm not actually absorbing anything. I'm mimicking this person. And in the book, How Emotions Are Made, Lisa Feldman Barrett talks about simulation. Simulation is a process that our brain does. We base our predictions of the future on our experiences of the past. So we create these simulations, and then that's what we actually overlay onto reality. So in labeling myself an empath, I then have a belief I'm an empath. I pick up other people's emotions. So then instantly when I'm around someone who's in a negative emotional state, that's really when it's a problem. It's not a problem when somebody's really happy and we can join them in that happiness. When somebody's in a negative emotional state, my brain is automatically I've programmed it through simulation to automatically mimic whatever that other person is feeling. So, it doesn't help the empath because it puts you in a state of having to do damage control all the time. Right? If you're around somebody who's negative, then you have to go home and decompress. It burns you out. It drains you because you're presuming it to be this type of energy exchange. When in reality, we're mimicking that person by simulation and mimicking their emotion and creating the experience in our own body. So we're doing this automatically by the things that we believe about ourselves. And it drains us. This is a limiting belief. This is something that we want to cut out because really it's not going to help them to join them in a pit. Joining someone in a pit doesn't actually assist them. Offering them a way out does. Now you may say, well, it feels good for that person when I join them in that emotion. Misery loves company. Okay, well, misery may love company, but what actually helps misery? Not that. Not two people in a pit. That doesn't help anybody. Because then, you know, you as the empath, when you've joined them in the pit, you then have to help yourself out too. So you have to help now the person you're in the pit with and yourself. This is a lot of wasted energy. It's a lot of extra effort. It's just not worth it at the end of the day. So to put being empathic on a pedestal, it really doesn't serve you as the empath, if that's something that you identify as. I'm separating this from compassion. You know, you can have compassion for another human being. I'm talking about being an empath on a purely emotional level. It does not serve you emotionally to suddenly go into these patterns of absorbing people's emotions. It doesn't help you and it doesn't help them. You can't get sick enough to help the sick. You can't get poor enough to help the poor. That's not what helps them. What helps them is a way out. What helps them is you maintaining a higher level of consciousness, a higher emotional state, a more optimistic, empowered, loving state of being that you can maintain in the face of their negative emotion that will influence them. Because they're having an emotional emergency. They don't know how to self-regulate. They don't know how to not let emotion, you know, things in their reality bother them. So the more empowered thing that you can do is to lead with your emotions, to be able to maintain a positive, loving, empowered state when someone else is in a negative state, because that will guide them. They're flailing, they're having a hard time. They're looking for a resource, for a way out, for a rope. And your rope is maintaining your stability in that moment. That's how you actually help them. I saw this in my firefighting career. Joining someone in a panicked state does not help them. Maintaining a cool, calm, confident, detached state of being in the presence of their panic is what actually helps them. You can't jump into the fire with them. You have to put the fire out. You have to stay calm and confident and put the fire out. That's what actually helps people and helps you, because then you're not, again, you are not, as an empath, are not being tossed around. The minute you encounter someone in the world with having a negative emotion. It's just the way it is. It doesn't have to be, I'm not trying to shame you or make you feel bad. I'm just saying, when we take a really deep look at this trait, does it serve anyone? I don't know that it does. I don't know that it does. But this is a question we all have to answer for ourselves. This is what I answered for myself. I realized, wow, this really does not serve me. I am over this today. And I stopped it today. I stopped being an empath literally like within the hour that I came to these realizations. Because I'm like, I'm not absorbing anything. I'm mimicking them and I'm not going to mimic them anymore. Done. End of story today. It can happen that fast. Change can happen that fast. So if we want to look at this just quickly, I want to add the manifestational perspective on this. So you're actually, if we look at this, this is a very advanced, I'm going to go esoteric on us here, on everybody. So you're actually creating the person to be in the state and maintaining that state by giving realness to their experience. So when you look at them, you see that they're upset and you give reality to it. What is reality? Is giving it our attention and then framing it as, wow, this person's really having that experience. So you're actually helping perpetuate their emotional state by believing in it, by believing it's real, and then as an empath, jumping into that reflection of your own beliefs and participating in it and giving yourself a reason to feel bad. So from a reality creation point of view, it's like you're looking in the mirror and giving the reflection all of the power by saying it's real and then joining it in its own misery. So it kind of gets into this really, it's just, again, it's not very self-loving either. At the end of the day, being an empath isn't a self-loving practice, right? We want to start prioritizing our well-being. We want to love ourselves and just not subscribe to when someone is having a hard time outside of us, joining them in that state. That's not loving to us, and it's not really loving to them because we're not seeing them in their best state. So let's go a little deeper into that. What actually helps them? us being in a loving state, us being empowered, us seeing through the illusion of their negative emotion, because negative emotion is an illusion. It's always an illusion because it is a simulation of an old behavior, right? It's always we're simulating an old behavior. We get drawn into it and then we fight against it. It's the energy of the problem. That's what a negative emotion is. So we want to hold ourselves steady, give that other person a empowered, loving, emotional set point to anchor to instead of where they are. And we want to just assume that, the best thing about them, see them in the best possible light, that this is just a moment in their lives. This is just a moment in time. And we don't have to add to the reality of the situation by jumping into the illusion with them. We don't want to do that. It's counterproductive. We want to give them a way out of the illusion. See them as, this is fine. You're going to make it through this. This is going to be okay. You can do this. I believe in you. Maintaining that kind of, maybe not those words exactly, but maintaining that kind of perspective on them is what helps them. Is what helps them see out of their own illusions, see past the limitation they're believing. They're believing that they've lost. They're believing that they're hurt. They're believing that they're sad, that they're angry, that someone has taken something away from them. When you help them see through that illusion, that really helps them. That's what really helps them out, because it's the illusion that they're subscribing to, that's true. And when you're like, that's not true. That's not true. You're an amazing person. Like, you're great. You're fine. Everything's okay. And we can do that energetically. We can do that with our feeling state. So yeah, and that's love. Love is pure acceptance. Love is just accepting something for what it is without pushing or pulling against it. So meeting them in a loving state. It's like, okay, I see you're angry. Okay, yeah. But maintaining our own emotional regulation. Anyway, let me know what you thought. Leave a comment below. Yeah. Join us at Flammable to Fireproof. And thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.